What time is it? It is game time, podcast time. This is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast. I am JD Cercelli, and this is Danny Ramirez with me. Danny, how are we doing today?
What's up, Jay? Doing well. How's it going for you? How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just excited. It's always awesome, from work to whatever, and then ready to unwind and enjoy this, our weekly conversation and talking in the NFL and sports. And now we're doing the history of the rookies, some of the best rookie seasons to ever come about. And I'm excited. Of course, through the transition of years, right? So, like, it's, back then it was more about the defense, so it was easier for defensive guys to get credited and try to get some get a name for himself. But now it's more offensive side, so it's easier to find offensive rookies that stand out, right? So it's all it's about the throwing and touchdown league in the NFL, and don't touch my quarterback or else I'll sue you type thing. And then so yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, so what's cool is that like we got you chose 10 offensive rookies that stood out in in their rookie year, and then how they changed the aspect of their teams and stuff like that. I chose off five offensive players, and then you chose five defense. I chose five defense. So I'm pretty excited, and it's cool that I told you to send the list, and I would counter and like choose other people, to make it a little more interesting. So yeah, I'm excited and I'm ready. And do we have any breaking news in the NFL before? Let's or anything
Oh,
fascinating?
that's a good question. I haven't seen nothing. I guess just to kind of recap, I brought this up last week, right, with the Hard Knocks series. You thought of something? Go for it.
No, 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 no. Go ahead. It'll go into our segment.
Okay, perfect. So you know how last week I was telling you about the off season, right, and how we're getting a look into what that looks like from a franchise perspective. In this case, right, the New York Giants are the ones that are being followed by Hard Knocks. So last week I said it was very cool to see the perspective of what goes into an off season. How do front offices prepare for both the draft, and also like the combine, things of that nature. So it's been cool to see that. Yesterday you got to look at what those coaches, front office interviews with the players, how that goes, and what they typically ask those players, and so you can see how that's very difficult, right? You've heard that as a fan, that those interactions are not easy, right? Some players get grilled, some players get asked like the most silliest questions in those types of interviews, and so
Right.
you got to get a look at how that worked for the New York Giants. um the cool thing is you got to see like Neighbors do his interview, you got to see Drake May, you got to see Jaden Daniels. And it was cool to see it because, I mean, going into the NFL draft, we didn't know whether the Giants were gonna go and select the quarterback or if they were gonna select the lineman. So it was just kind of up in the air with everything. But to see them kind of even contemplate selecting a quarterback was pretty cool and telling. Um, and now thinking about it, maybe it's not such a great idea to have Hard Knocks follow a team in the offseason. And by that I mean they're trying to figure it out with Daniel Jones, right? So they're trying to find out what kind of quarterback, if he's the quarterback to lead them. And then they're trying to give him all the confidence in the world. But then they go on air, they go live, and, and you can see them kind of internally discuss yeah, exactly. They're cutting him down at the knees. So maybe that's not the most smartest decision from NFL franchises to have, French the Hard Knocks follow them throughout the whole offseason. So that just got me thinking.
That's it. It's interesting that you bring that up, right? Yeah, you're like, well, this was awesome, episode one, and then I saw, I think on Instagram earlier about like the phone call that led up to Saquon Barkley going to Princeton. I'm like, okay, yeah, go let him go to your division rival, dumbasses. But it is what it is. But it's crazy, like you said, like you're trying to like see if this is the guy, but then yet he sees now behind closed doors, you guys are like, I don't know, so it's kind of it's a weird thing. And that's why social media and everything has made so many people like this generation or this time era, I guess you could say, like a lot of people are are very vulnerable, right? And like they're very like touchy. Like you can't say much or you can't do much or else they get offended and blah blah blah. And you and I were like the last generation group. The millennial group are the last ones that like we grew up without social media and cell phones and stuff to a certain degree. And then we're able to transition into it instead of like now it's all up in the air. These new kids are like that's all they know. And then if they hear negativity, then they're gonna think about negativity, and it's just like a lot of them don't have a mind of their own. So then, like to see young kids, especially going from like high school to college, and then college to the pros, like some probably have to find themselves within that time frame, right? Especially going from collegiate level to the pro level, and then like, hey man, what kind of man or woman am I? Like, because a lot of people are going to hate on me on social media, a lot of people are going to hate on me behind closed doors, and now I'm going to see it. So how am I going to how am I going to become, or how am I going to go forward with this and become better for myself? Because if Daniel turns around, is like, and throws a pity fit, pity party even to himself, then he's definitely going to lose out this thing because he's not betting on himself. So it's a very interesting time frame, especially for sports players, because you are on the spotlight every second. At least like actors, stuff that I want to get into. I make a film, and then like people like see it like, oh, behind the scenes, and then like after that they don't see me for a while unless you like see me out in the open and you know who I am. So we get some time lapse of like not having people like, hey, what's going on? What's going on with your life? But sports stars, especially like in big names like the New York Giants, it's what the top third or fourth ranked by number wise in the NFL and money and being onslaughts, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Giants, and I forget someone else, but those are the top four by like money and like wealth and fame and all that jazz. And it's pretty interesting. The
Yeah,
Giants have
it's a it's a large market, to your point, right? It's a large market. There's a lot of it's hard to please everybody in a market like that, right? Because you have the fans calling for your name, wanting to go to a different direction. You have the media that's huge in New York, also kind of contemplating whether you're the one or not. And then now you're at a national scale level on Hard Knocks, and from the off season to like the end of the season to the off season, all you heard was the front office kind of say, you know what, Daniel, you're a guy. We're gonna put all the pieces around you to see if you can help us succeed. And then you go on Hard Knocks and you say the opposite. It's kind of like, ooh, you're lying to your quarterback, and that also shows the
right.
cutthroat business of the NFL.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, exactly. And and what people don't understand too, like I mean, people I'm sure have already seen like Malik Hooker and Mike could kind of go back and forth in about podcasts and show up. Those are two players, so like it's being shown everywhere. So, and especially the Cowboys being a big market, just like the Giants, like Daniel has to bet on himself and block the noise and just go. And that was one of the best things that honestly that helped Eli Manning. He was a Manning. He was always in his brother's shadow, but he stayed quiet and just went and played. Like he didn't go out, he didn't go be flashy, he wasn't always in the news. He was just like the only time he was in the news is when they were showing highlights on Sunday night or Monday night on ESPN. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
good for him, and that's how Daniel should approach it. Like you're in New York City, you're gonna have the whole world at your disposal. You got food, you got entertainment, like you got everything. But like even if you go out, just stay calm, chill out. People are gonna ask you questions. Stay to your own, believe in yourself, and just go. Because that's the only way that he's going to succeed. Because all this white noise now, especially seeing that he may or may not be the guy, even though they're saying the right things in the interviews, now everyone's seeing what they really believe in the shadows, So that's kind of it's kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring up Eli Manning in this case, because I see a lot of similarities between Daniel Jones and Eli Manning, and just the demeanor, the way that they kind of quarterback the position itself. But I don't know if it makes me think like if Eli Manning didn't win those two Super Bowls, it would be a pretty similar trajectory of a
Situation.
career, don't
Oh
you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, ownership, coaching, GM. Like I've always told you and all the boys growing up, like in order to win a championship every year, all of them have to be won. It can't be divided by 5%, 100%, especially like, but even the slightest decimal, whether it's from coaching to players to GM, it's not going to work. And eventually it's going to unfold and you're going to not win the Super Bowl. Like that's why the NFL is so schematic and probably the reason why it's so big in this country, right? Because every second, every tackle, every throw, every emotion really counts to see if you're going to weather the storm and then take your team to the promised land. Other sports, especially in NBA and MLB and stuff, you build a team, you build a franchise. It's not all hardy and craziness. It's just like go out and ball out, and we'll build the dynasty. And it's easier to do that than it is the NFL, and that's why there's only usually like one dynasty per decade or whatever in the NFL instead of like in the NBA, baseball, or something like there's like multiple teams that win multiple championships because they built the right team, right? So
Hmm.
it's pretty wild, and yeah, this is awesome. This is a good start. We're hitting on all cylinders right now. That's awesome. So going back to our main segment, Danny, and the thing that I remembered and brought up, I don't remember if I had him as like a hidden underrated player going into the draft. I remember I might have talked about him to you personally, but may we send our condolences and love and passion to Kyrie Jackson, who was tragically killed in a car accident last week, and he was going to be a rookie for the Minnesota Vikings cornerback. And out of my, of course, my favorite college team, University of Oregon. So it's it's a tragic thing for his family. And apparently, I don't know if anyone else has passed, but at that time, he was the only one that passed. So I'm assuming the person that was drunk or, whatever speeding that hit them, he probably hit him direct. So sad for Kyrie Jackson and his family. So obviously, Danny and I send our condolences and love to all the people that are infected around him and knew him. Um, and hopefully, in his honor, we're going to do good talking about rookies that definitely made an impact for their teams, their rookie year.
Yeah, that's tragic for sure. He was just about to enter the league, right? So
Uh, what hurts me most when things like that happen, a young kid never knew how great he could have been. There's people that like the Antonio Browns in the NBA or NFL, and then there's NBA player, baseball player. There's always in any sport, there's always players that just hit that peak, and they just had a downfall because they just do something dumb or they just they lose themselves. I love comeback stories like you and I always talk. We're talking about Brandon Marshall, Chris Carter. People that like own up to their like, hey man, I screwed it up. Let me show you like who I really am. Let me own up to it. I love those players, but like for kids, for even people, like there's people that pass every day, killing, by tragic accident or cancer or whatever, and yet they don't even hit their 20th birthday. And it's sad, Danny, because like you and I are like, man, I can't believe we made it to 36. Well, there's people that don't even make 5 years old, 10 years old. It's the craziest thing in life is just you never know. And I feel for the kid because he never knew how great he could have been.
yeah, it's life's biggest mysteries for sure. But
Right.
condolences to him and his family.
Oh, yes. Damn. All right. So we're going to talk about 5 rookies on the offensive side and 5 defensive rookies on that they had an immaculate rookie season that changed like the magnitude of their team, or just that one season that just showed people that are like, all right, this team who drafted that person specifically is going to be right and happy with their decision going forward because the guy's the real deal. Last week I started first, Danny. So this week I'll hand the keys to you. You can start driving first. Go ahead and give me your first rookie.
All right, so I'm gonna start with the offense here, and I'm gonna go in chronological order again. I like to be organized in that fashion. Um, so we're talking about the last 25 years. I think that was a caveat that you mentioned in the podcast last week. So um, I want to start with the 2000 season. And the rookie that I'm selecting for that season is going to be Mike Anderson, the running back from Denver, the Denver Broncos. Um, One of the greatest things that, I mean, I do remember the name Mike Anderson. Um, I know he had a couple of good seasons back to back, but then like he just kind of fell off the face of the earth, right? And I think that's having to do probably with my second player that I'm going to mention later. But when you look at Mike Anderson's rookie season, for a 6th round pick to have about 1,400 yards rushing, and then you have a total number of 15 TDs, I mean, that's a monster season. Like you
Right.
just that's unheard of from a rookie running back. Yes, it's a different era where running backs were a little bit, more strategic, more used more. Now it's more passing a passing league, so maybe we won't see that these days. But still, 15 total touchdowns. That just shows he's a big contributor to that team. And Mike Anderson, I mean, he was for being a 6th round pick. That's impressive.
Oh yeah, 6th round, and you know what's so cool is that like it shows how great he was because John Elway wasn't there. He had retired. What's up, dude? Hey, are we back on Facebook?
No, I wish.
Oh man, he found us on YouTube. All right, sounds good. What's up, David? So yeah, Elway retires. Denver was in discombobulated basically all the way up until they got Peyton Manning way later in his career. So I mean, you go from all those quarterbacks that they had stuff. So Mike Williams probably didn't have the best offensive line or the best quarterback for sure to help him with those yards and touchdowns, right? So it's probably all work, all him just going and grinding. So that's kudos to him. Mike Williams, he's sort of a forgotten player, right? Because the Broncos weren't relevant at the time, but good for him to show up that year, especially every down, every play, to even get rookie of the year and all that jazz for or offensive rookie of the year. But yeah, hats off to him. And that sounds. I'm going to counter with you, and you said chronological order in 25 years. Since the defense have kind of like went away from like shining, I'm not gonna lie. I only have one player in the 20th century on my list, just because like back then it was more defensive players like having to fight to win that honor. So my defensive players, you kind of go back in the late 70s and the 80s. So, but I'll counter that running back with another running back, someone who's for some reason forgotten this day and age. And this, like when people talk running backs, a lot of youth don't probably know him or remember him, but he was a Hall of Fame for a reason. Curtis Martin. And we were talking about people that didn't start with his, who didn't end his career, the team that drafted him, but ended up a Hall of Famer. Curtis Martin, 1995, drafted by the New England Patriots, who obviously, had a good regime even back then because they even made the Super Bowl, a year or two later. So Curtis Martin with Bill Parcells, he had 368 carries his rookie year. And obviously he, look at it, 1487, 14 touchdowns. I mean, and he ended up a Hall of Famer. And Danny, what people forget too is the first 10 years, he eclipsed 1,000 yards every year for the first 10 years of his career. Look at that.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Only his last year was the only time he didn't eclipse 1,000 yards.
And he was probably a part of a committee at that point, right?
Yeah. Especially, in 2005, he was getting older. So they probably got a younger running back. But yeah, 3 years with the Patriots. And then look at that Hall of Fame career, boom, with the Jets. I mean, I remember him with the Jets. Him, Keyshawn Johnson. They were the two best players on offense they had. I remember Chad Pennington. That was he was the Jet, right? Quarterback. And he wasn't the greatest or flashiest, but man, Curtis Martin helped him. Keyshawn Johnson helped, but Curtis Martin, he had of course, obviously 1487, 14 touchdowns, and he 300. Can you imagine carrying the ball 368 times? Your rookie year, like that's someone that's like, especially Parcells, he's old school. We're gonna run the ball, hold the clock, and then play defense. So that they're just like, all right, kid, you're up. You're gonna run the whole damn time. So that's insane.
Curtis Martin's picture should be next to consistency on the dictionary because damn, that's impressive. I didn't know he had this level of success consistently year over year. But then to top it off, right, you're talking about the carries, 368 his first year, 316 the second year. And then you just see that's the average pretty much of his
369,
career.
367. Like that's insane. Like imagine the the hits he took, and just like his consistency of hitting 1,000 yards 10 out of 11 years that he was in the league. That's insane.
That's a workhorse for sure, but that doesn't count. This one doesn't count because you said 25 years, not 30
I,
years.
I know I'm going. I can't do the math, Danny. Leave me alone. But I looked up the list and I was like, dude, because for someone that used to love the running back position as much as I did growing up, Curtis Martin was never talked enough at all. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I like Jerome Bettis. I love him. LT was awesome. Like there's so many players that that were amazing and flashy, but this guy was on a team that didn't do nothing, and he did that over and over and over again. Like, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, 25 years. I missed the memo, but so most of my offensive players will be in the last 25 years, so you should be happy on that part. But there's one
They
more
better
person
be.
there's one more person that's not, but you'll like him either way because of what he transcended the position. But yeah, so Curtis Martin for me, I had always loved him. Like honestly, Danny, when we were growing up, before we even knew each other, he was probably my second or third most favorite running back behind Emmett Smith. Like, of course, Emmett Smith was my boy because my team was, riving and thriving, and Emmett was the man. But Curtis Martin, like I would always tell people, like, you guys don't understand. Like, he's in a team that doesn't have anything, and yet he's doing this consistently over and over and over again.
Yeah, you can say based off of all this production, he was probably the face of the franchise for the
Yes.
Jets, right? And that was a time where the Jets were not very strong as a team. And I mean, looking back at it, I mean AFC East had the Patriots, but without Breeze, they had Drew Bledsoe. I'm assuming at that time.
Yeah, Brady, you mean?
Um, well, no, in 1985 they had
No,
Drew Bledsoe,
no,
right?
no, no. But you said without Breeze, you mean Brady.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Brady.
I was like, did I hear that?
Thanks.
This is a
Um,
new universe.
yeah, I guess alternate universe over here. But yeah, no, I think looking back at the teams, you had the Patriots who were not the Patriots yet, right?
Right.
You had the Bills who were still struggling at that time. And then the Dolphins, I think that was post it should have been post Dan Marino, right? Time
Yes.
frame.
Yes. And go ahead. Damn.
No, go for it. It sparked an
No,
idea.
yeah, it was so the Jets did have a few, like one or two, three playoffs because of
Yeah.
this man in them, because like you said, the Patriots were in transitioning from Bledsoe to Brady, so like they were in the mix, but they weren't winning Super Bowls yet, right? And then the Dolphins, Marino, I think, retired in, I would say 2002, maybe. I
Okay, so he
don't.
was still there.
Yeah, I think he was, but it was later in his career, but yeah, Curtis Martin, man, he definitely was just a workhorse for the Jets. But his rookie year at the Patriots, I mean, that's insane.
Yep, he retired 2000. You're right about that. So it was probably still his division, right? He was probably still controlling that division
Yeah,
um,
Dan
at
Marino,
that
yeah,
time.
was still doing well.
But yeah, to your point, I think they were like the Cinderella of the NFL at that point, right? Because they were kind of known as losers.
Right.
And then they had a couple of good years where they actually competed in the playoffs. And I want to say they made it to the AFC Championship one year. Don't remember what year that was. Um, but I know they were pretty successful with Curtis Martin behind center.
So going back to the quarterbacks, we said Chad Pennington.
Pennington.
They also had Vinny Testaverde. Remember?
That's true. Yeah,
Oh man, Vinny. I used to
that's
love his
right.
name, and he had some good years too. Vinny Testaverde, him, Keyshawn Johnson, and Curtis Martin would just tear it up. It was so
And
fun to watch him.
did they have another receiver, Wayne Corbett? Remember, Corbett
Oh,
was kind of
Wayne
like
Corbett, yeah, the unsung
their
hero
slot.
Corbett. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they had a decent team, but when you look at players from the running back position that got more press and more publicity and more love, like Curtis Martin is definitely someone that didn't get all the love that he should have.
Yep. It was him. Probably Fred Taylor's another one that didn't get a lot of love.
Oh
And
man,
then
Fred Taylor was
you
awesome.
compare them. You compare them against the likes of Emmett Smith or against Marshall Falk at that time. I think they were the ones that were getting a lot of the press.
Right. They were flashy and going to Super Bowl, so it was easier to press them. But yeah, yeah, oh yeah, I agree. Curtis Martin, Fred Taylor, man, Fred Taylor was awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
Curtis Martin's my first rookie on offense. Who's your first defensive rookie, Danny?
First defensive is going back to the 1999 season, and it's going to be Javon Curse, the freak. Do you
Woo,
remember
the
Javon
freak.
Curse?
Oh, I love Javon Carter. Are you kidding? Like as soon as he became a free agent, that boy was on my damn team. Like there's no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
that dude was a monster, man. Like
Oh,
he impacted lots of games. Shoot, his first year, his rookie year, they made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's
right.
pretty impressive in itself. And he still holds the record, I believe, for the most sacks in rookie for a rookie, and that's 14 and a half sacks. So just that level of production from a rookie coming into the league, that's super impressive. And
Music City Miracle.
yeah, remember that? I
Yeah.
think that was in that year though, because
That's when they made it to the Super Bowl.
they beat the Bills that year?
Yeah, it was the wild card game, and then after that, they just went through the whole AFC.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the same season. That's
I
even more
think, yeah,
impressive.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm almost positive it was the same scene. Like, yeah, they did the Music City Miracle, and then after that, they just went through the whole AFC, the Jaguars, and then whoever they played before the Jaguars. Yeah,
Dang, that's impressive.
yeah,
But yeah, no, Javon Curse was super productive his rookie year. And then I think that was just like a telling sign for a great successful career he was going to have, right? Not just with the Titans, but he had it with the Eagles. And he had it with a few other teams as well. Like everywhere he went to play, he made a difference on that defense.
right. Yeah, yeah. What I love about Javon Curse, wherever he went, he made an impact, even after his rookie year, right? So, like, yeah, his rookie year, he single handedly made the Titans relevant. Him, Eddie George, and Steve McNair, right? Aaron McNair,
Yep.
like that. Curse was just so good. How many teams did he go with? Like he played for what, maybe three?
I don't think it was that many. But let's find out.
Javon Curse was so good. The freak, man.
The freak. Yep, that was him. Let's see. All I remember him is with the Titans. I remember him with the Eagles.
Yeah, man. He
Uh,
he would tear us up. With,
let's see here. Didn't say here. All right, here we go. Yeah, and it was only the Tennessee Titans and the Eagles.
oh, really?
He, yep, he started his career with the Tennessee Titans. Left after 2003, went to the Eagles 2004, which makes sense. That was the year that I think the
They
Eagles
went
selected
to the
To,
Super
and
Bowl.
yep, they had a monster squad that year. Um, and then it looks like in 2008 and 2009, he actually went back to the Titans. So
Right. I
he had a
remember he retired with the team.
hmm
It was like a literal retire, not the ones that like let's just sign a 1 day contract so you can retire with the team, like Emmitt Smith, stupid Jerry Jones, you piece of crap. But like yeah, I remember Javon retired as a Titan literally because he went to go play for them. That's awesome. But yeah, I remember
yep,
the '04. Yeah, like I think it was '03 that they got TO for free agency or '04. I can't remember. And then yeah, the Eagles just like and then took
yeah, they
off.
took off.
Yeah, man, the freak Javon Curse was so good, man. I used to love that dude. And man, he would make me cry with the damn Eagles. Though, I'd be like, no, 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 someone block him, please. Stop hurting my
Yeah,
quarterback.
the
But
Eagles made a good offseason when they both got To and Curse,
oh
because if you think
yeah,
about it, they on offense they got a huge playmaker for Donovan McNabb, and then on the defense side you got a foundational piece to the defense with Javon Curse. So it made all the difference in the world to have those two guys be.
right. So going back to what I said earlier, it was a lot harder to shine as a defensive player because there's more defense back then and more more guys to like try to get what they can get, especially with less games. I guess that's I don't know. That's wild. So my first guy was 1985, the preacher Reggie White. That was his rookie year. Can you imagine? Like he played that long and that was his rookie year. Like that's crazy.
Damn, you're,
So
you're gonna teach me some things here because I don't know anything about
so
Reggie White's rookie season.
13 games, Danny. I mean, they didn't play that many games like they do now. 13 games, he had 13 sacks and 100 tackles. 100 tackles, bro.
A
Like,
hundred tackles.
well, that's what the
Are
thing
you?
said. Like when I looked it up, I might be tripping, but
Oh, okay. Well, it's combo
com-
combo tackles.
combined. But yeah, but that's still like as a rookie, like he was around the ball no matter what, basically. With 13 sacks
Yeah.
and at as a rookie, 1985, and then like all he did was be consistent to get a Hall of Fame career. And do you remember? Did you ever hear how he went to Green Bay?
No, I don't know that story.
So Mike Holmgren, which is the head coach of the Green Bay Packers at the time, and of course ended up winning the Super Bowl with Brett Favre and Reggie White and that awesome group in 96. So Reggie White was a free agent, and this was when free agency was first like, all right, let's see how this works. This is like Reggie White was the first big massive pop of free agency of all time because it was still kind of new because back then 70s 80s 60s whatever, like they kind of like stuck with the whole team, and then maybe you're older, like you go somewhere else, but free agency is like, no, I want my money, let me go try somewhere else. So Mike Holmgren literally called Reggie White, and of course this is no cell phone, no caller ID. Well, maybe he's rich, so he probably has caller ID, but a lot of people didn't have caller ID back then. But so he gets a phone call, and you know how he was super religious, right? And he, preacher off field, and just always trying to help people and stuff. Mike Holmgren literally called him, and he says, "Hello." Mike Holmgren said, "Reggie, this is God. You're coming to play in Green Bay." Click. That's all he did. And Reggie was like, "What the hell?" You know what I mean? He was kind of like, "Wait, what?" And then he was like, "Well, I guess I'm going to Green Bay then." And then they went to the Super Bowl and won. Like, isn't that the most bizarre thing? Like, but yeah, he literally called him, just said, "Hey, it's God. You're gonna come to Green Bay and play." And then they win a Super Bowl together. Like, isn't that wild? I
That
remember
is crazy.
that is one of the most memorable moments I have in that Super Bowl is Reggie running the stadium with the trophy in his hand. Like he's like, I finally did, and he's just running with the stadium, like, oh man, my life is complete. Like I just won a Super Bowl. But yeah, can you imagine? Only in 13 games, he had 13 sacks and 100 combined tackles. Like only in 13, like like that's insane.
That's a lot of tackles, even as combined tackles are measured. I mean, that's granted. I think at that time they didn't really measure solo tackles versus combined tackles.
Well,
Uh,
um,
and even for him to be involved in 100 tackles is
right.
pretty impressive from a defensive lineman.
So what's gonna make you depressed later too? Like I found this out when I researched it. You're talking about the sack record because Javon Curse's rookie year and all that stuff.
Hmm.
One of the guys later I'm gonna mention, his rookie year was so insane, but it was before they even did sacks as a stat, and until he was before 1982. But this is why I put him on the stat because I'm gonna tell you what the hell, like how. But anyway,
You
damn.
you you definitely missed this memo,
But I'm
and you're
telling
the
you,
one
like,
that you're the one
I'm
that
the one.
wrote this memo.
I know. I'm the one who said last 25 years. But like, when you hear these stats, it's like, how and like, why wasn't it a stat, a record to begin with, right? Because like the next, like that one guy, you're gonna be like, there's no way. I mean, I don't know. That's wild. But anyway,
Uh,
damn, this is so cool. Like this episode is gonna go quick because we're having so much fun and like we're learning so much stuff today. So my next, no, I just did Reggie, right? So then
yep.
your next offensive person.
All right. So my next, let me pull up my list here, because now. All right. The next one is offense, right? So my next offense player is Clinton Portis in 2002. We talked
Clinton
about Miami.
Portis. Ugh.
We talked about Miami U. Remember these last
Yeah,
couple episodes? How impactful and a lot of the players that ended up getting drafted to the NFL.
he was
Well,
one.
yep, Clinton Portis was one of those players that made an impact right away.
Washington
And
Redskins.
let me pull up. Well, people Yeah, he did start with Washington, right? Or was it Denver? He started with Denver first. That's where I
Oh,
get confused
that's right. That's right.
because
Yeah,
they
because I
traded him for
remember when
Champ Bailey.
yeah, isn't that wild? And it's
Yeah,
so man, I remember Clint Portis, man. I was like, damn, they got him. But yeah, he was awesome.
and, and they traded him at a time where he was just getting started with all that production. Um,
I know that's what a lot of
but
people do. Steve Young, Brett Favre. I mean, there's so
true.
many. Jerome Bettis, Marshall Falk. Like, there's so many that you're right, but right before getting trucking, man. Chris Carter. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Danny.
that's a good point. So look at it. His rookie year, 2002, he started all 16 games. He had 200 carries and amassed about 1,500 yards rushing. And
Jesus.
he had a total of 15 touchdowns. Again, kind of like Mike Anderson, right? The impact that he had with 15 touchdowns.
Right.
Well, you know, he beat Mike Anderson's rookie rushing record there the
And
2 years
that's two
later.
years apart. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's even more crazy. That means that they're like, all right, Mike, you ain't Magic Mike, so we're about to go somewhere else.
That's what I wanted to bring up is you have Mike Anderson who's been in the league for 3 years at this time, right? When they drafted Clinton Portis in 2002. But it just shows you, and maybe it's a great analogy or acronym for the NFL, not for long, because all it
Jeez.
takes is for you to get replaced by somebody who is more flashy, uh, potentially more more athletic, and
Who
in this
just won
case,
a
that's
national
exactly.
championship.
hmm And he's a good pass catcher, and so if you look at even his receiving yards, you could tell he caught the ball out of the backfield quite a bit for Mike Shanahan, and he had 33 receptions, 364 yards receiving, and then 2 touchdowns. So I know Mike Anderson probably was not that pass catching back, but to me it's even more of a head scratcher because you you got this level of success and production from Clinton Portis, and then 2 years later you trade him to Washington. Why?
Well, there's a reason why both these teams didn't win the Super Bowl. Well, Washington hasn't won since 1990, but like Denver didn't. Obviously, that's why they didn't win for a long time. Because look at that. Like you were building something and you got rid of it. Remember Jake the Snake, Jake Plummer,
Jake Plummer, yep, he was
Jake
there.
Plummer. Yeah,
So he
yeah.
he was
Clinton
probably
Portis,
there
man, he
like during
was.
those. Yeah, go for it.
No. I'm just saying, Clinton Portis. Yeah, like you're right on the button. Like how did you? He's only 2 years in. Like how are you going to trade him right off the jump? Like
Yeah, I mean it makes no sense, but I don't know. It's kind of sad to see like the trajectory of Clayton Portis' career. I know he got injured quite a bit a couple of seasons, like in 06, 08. He didn't play that many games. Um, oh, what's wrong? You thought of something?
so in Denver, apparently it was in RFL, no running back for long
Yep.
because they were trading them left and right. Like, oh, Mike Anderson, thanks for 2 years, bro. Hey, Clinton, thanks for 2 years. All right, we're gonna and
Yeah,
no running back for
that's
long. Apparently,
that's true. Even with No Sean Moreno, even with who else with other recent running backs that they've had,
yeah. I mean, they
Philip
they don't like
Lindsay.
running, don't like running backs to Denver at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, but it's sad to see that Clinton Portis' career started off so good, and then it just didn't sustain. After he went to Washington, and maybe that's having to do with Washington, right? Maybe he didn't have the best team around him.
Right.
But just what could have been in Denver, right? If you think about it, going back to you mentioned Jake Plummer in 2003. I believe he was already there in Denver as a quarterback. So you had potential there. And then later in
And that,
'06, you drafted Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall, and what could have been.
and I think in '04. They went to the AFC Championship game, right? Like they lost to Pittsburgh, if I'm right. Denver lost to Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game, I think, in '04
Let's find out. Now we're
or
going down
'05.
this rabbit hole
What
again.
'05? Yeah, I know. '04
It
or
might have
'05.
been
That like
'05.
yeah, because that rookie year was Ben's rookie year. So '05 it had to have been.
Yeah, it was '05.
Yeah, they
Technically
lost to the right.
2006, but it was '05, '06 season. Yep. They
Yeah,
lost
the
to the
'05
Steelers.
season they lost the Broncos were there.
Yep.
Damn,
And I
damn
believe
Denver, you
it
should have
was
won.
Jake Plummer, right? Jake Plummer was the quarterback.
Yep. like they had a good run that year. Like they got hot at the end, and Denver was surprised people. Same thing with Ben's rookie year. People were surprised in Pittsburgh, and then after that, they just took off. Like they were a monster. They had a great team
Yes,
too.
that's another
Next,
conversation for later. But Big Ben had a really productive rookie year, and
yeah,
statistically, he didn't have the best stats in the world, but just the impact he made for that team, right? He was
honest,
exactly what they needed at.
yeah, honestly, he was about to be on my list, but I was like, let me pick other people that like may not be seen or shown. So,
Yeah,
yeah, man, good choice, man. Clinton Portis, man, even though he was a Redskin, I was like, damn, I like this dude. This dude just shows up and just like, I mean, he would just run and ball out, like he's consistent.
hmm
Yeah, but his Redskins teams, I mean, who was the guy that Clinton Portis had the quarterback number 17? He's a black man. Remember, he was
Campbell,
good.
Jason
Yeah,
Campbell.
Jason Campbell from Auburn. Remember, he was going to be the next big thing, and he was the next tomorrow's next episode of Bye Bye. But yeah, Jason Campbell, I remember him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, good stuff, Danny. All right, Danny. So my last offensive player that's before 25 years is right now, but this is why I put him on here because you're gonna. I mean, you probably won't remember him. His name was just Randy Moss, but so he his rookie year, Danny, led the league in touchdown receptions as a rookie, 17 in total. And mind you, that man led the league in touchdowns in 5 seasons as his career. Like, can you imagine like the mark? And of course, some people have him as the second best receiver of all time, which I mean, there's opinions all the time. But I think he had 3 touchdowns against Dallas on Thanksgiving. Like, I mean, his rookie year was just no joke. And I think 98 they made it to the NFC Championship game. They lost to
Yep.
the Falcons and the debacle of missed field goal. Like, honestly, I think the Vikings could have beat Denver if they would have just made the field goal. I think that Vikings team was their only shot at this point in history, obviously, to actually getting their first Super Bowl, because
Yeah.
that team was so monstrous, and he he never missed the whole year, and he
I
missed the
know
field goal.
that's what hurts is that they were stacked offensively. On defense, they were solid too, and it's like it wasn't even down to them. It was because of a kicker that they didn't get the opportunity.
Twice. Didn't he miss twice? Like, oh
Yeah.
man. Like Randy Moss, 17 touchdowns in a season, probably like 5 years before they started transitioning to the offense. As soon as Brady fumbled and the tuck rule, that's when like, all right, we're gonna just make it a passing league because we don't want this debacle. So then it just became a passing league. But it was before all offenses were all all passing and all that jazz. 17 touchdowns. He led the league. Had a monstrous Thanksgiving game against a team that he wanted to get drafted to, but of course they didn't because Jerry Jones is stupid. And then he just beat the shit out of us. And yeah, I mean, a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, Randy Moss was a game changer, especially someone that transitioned the league to an all passing, because like they were like, man, Randy Moss, he's one of those people that they're so flashy. Chad Ochocinco, like, hey man, we're selling tickets because people want to come see him score touchdowns. So let's just make it this a passing league. So Randy Moss was a massive trendsetter for the NFL, and just, I mean, that year you knew this kid was going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, you just like, if he doesn't mess up and doesn't go down some bad rabbit hole, this dude is just gonna kill everybody. And sure enough, that's what he did. Remember, didn't he have like, look at that 07 season with he had 23 touchdowns.
Yep. Almost 1,500
Jeez.
yards. How many
Yeah.
receptions did he have that year?
And
He had
and look, the
98.
touchdowns are thick blackened, so that means that's when he led the league. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Jesus. But yeah.
that's a good one, and you missed it by a year, unfortunately. So you can't also use this
So
one.
that's not bad. That's not bad. Well, I said it right before. I mean,
we We didn't say 26 years. We said 25 years.
Oh, just wait till I go further on the defensive side. Don't you worry, sir. We're gonna become real old men really soon. Man, that sounds amazing. So
I
we're
like
at
this one.
our Randy Moss. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I like this one, and I was gonna bring up. It kind of sucks to see like towards the end of his career. Look at this. He played for Oakland. He played for New England. In 2010, he played for three teams. He played for
three
Minnesota,
teams.
New England, and Tennessee. And then San Francisco. Did you remember that? He was in San Francisco 2012, the year that they went to the Super Bowl. And I believe they lost to the Ravens.
He was
Did
on
you know
that
that?
team.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember
He
because
was
he wasn't relevant, right?
they didn't use him. They didn't use him, and that's crazy that a guy that had 23 touchdowns with Tom Brady wasn't able to be productive in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you had a quarterback that ran all the way, that ran around everywhere, and then and he
Yeah.
loved himself more than anything else. So, but dude, I see. This is why we do these things, right? And why we podcast things that we love, because there's things that we just don't know, and we're learning throughout. Like, no way in hell would you, if you would have told me, "Hey, man, remember Randy Moss on that San Francisco team that lost?" I'd be like, "What? You mean Jerry Rice?" Like, no, Randy Moss. I would have never. Did you remember that until you looked it up?
I didn't until I was rewatching the Ravens and 49ers Super Bowl on NFL Network a few months back, maybe. And there was a play when they were trying to catch back up. Randy Moss actually made a reception. And I'm like,
And you saw him, and you're like, "Wait,
Randy
what?"
Moss?
Yeah, like,
Yeah. I was like,
what?
you. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that he was
That
on
is
the Niners squad.
so mind-boggling. I am, Jesus. I better be.
It kind
10
of
foot.
makes you. It kind of makes
I
you
better
feel like
be rich tomorrow.
It makes you feel like you missed the whole season, right? You don't remember. You have
Yeah,
amnesia or
like that.
something.
That's insane. How do you not use one of the greatest, if not other people's greatest of all time? Like,
It's like you have Michael Crabtree at the end of the game, or you have Randy Moss. Let's go with
I'm
Crabtree.
going to Randy. I'm going to Randy. That is no. I don't care if he's way older at this point. No, I'm going with the sure-handed guy that's shown up for 20 years. Like, there's no way. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That is so mind-boggling.
That was a
Oh
good
my
one.
God.
I'll give you a pass with this one.
Oh my God. That is
You can't
so wild.
you can't discredit 17 touchdowns from a rookie receiver.
That led
That's
the league.
legit.
Like, he's not only lead his team, he led the the freaking league. Man, that's so. He was with the Niners. That is so wild. That is so mind-boggling. Yeah, I'm sure they don't remember either. They don't want to remember any of that.
Not that Super Bowl.
Sheesh. All right, Danny's your second defensive player. Remember, mine are going to be way back except for one, but that's because like these guys changed the game. All right, so go ahead.
All right, second defensive player. All right, okay. I like this one. This is going back to Niners, so shout out any Niners fans that are tuning in later.
Not Dave.
2007, Patrick Willis.
I loved
He
Patrick
was a
Willis,
monster.
man. He's
Yeah,
so amazing.
I hated playing the Niners just because of that guy. That dude was just everywhere.
And you know, he was loved. Like, you don't hear anything bad about him. He just showed up, beat the crap out of your quarterback, and then go home. Like, you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
wasn't talkative. He was so good, Patrick Willis.
Patrick Willis was good. Navarro Bowman was good. Like, they just
That front
had a
seven
solid
was
duo.
so monstrous.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They were legit. So look, let's take a look at his rookie year real quick. So in 2007, right, he played all 16 games. When you look at his combined tackles, 174 total tackles.
Yikes.
Solo by himself, 136. And you know, Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, they would always get a lot of credit and a lot of praise when they would
Right.
be over that 100 tackle season. Like, it was considered a a really great season, Pro Bowl caliber season, right? So
Right.
to add to just the vast number of tackles, right? You also had 4 sacks to go on top of it. And sacks from a linebacker position, that's not common, especially the middle linebacker. So, of course, because of this production, he won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sure he made the Pro Bowl that year as well. So he just made a huge impact again at a
From the
time when
jump.
a team, yeah, at the jump, and then when a team sucks, right? Like he was probably the brightest spot for
Yeah,
that Niners.
him and Frank Gore were the only thing back then. In '07,
Yep.
that him and Frank Gore were the only thing. I don't remember their damn quarterback because no one else does.
Alex
And
Smith,
that was
like he
their quarter.
was, he got drafted in '05 with Rodgers,
07.
but
You know what?
Alex Smith was always hurt.
Yeah, all the time. And you know what's so crazy to me? Like, it's like getting struck by lightning, but twice. Joe Theismann gets his leg by someone that I'm about to talk to about later, but he gets his leg shattered and obliterated against the Giants and Redskins. And then years later, in the same side, in the same vicinity area, Alex Smith gets his leg shattered and obliterated. Like that specific spot, if you're going in to play Washington, try to avoid getting your quarterback hit because apparently 2 guys got hit in the same area and their leg and ended it. They ended their career. But it's so crazy. But Alex Smith, man, poor guy. Damn, that man, his leg was so intense.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. And unfortunately, at that time, right, with the Joe Theismann history, he had to retire after that, right? That was it.
Yeah, they both
That
did.
was
They
his
both did.
career ending. And the thing with Alex Smith, and if anybody has ESPN Plus, they had a documentary kind of recapping the process of kind of healing that injury, right, for Alex Smith. And if you all remember, Alex Smith's injury got infected, and so they had to do a
He
lot
had
of skin
multiple
grafting
surgeries.
with it. Yeah, they took skin from his thigh, and of course his whole leg looks really disfigured because it was just eating his skin off. And they show some pretty gnarly, you know, photos of what his leg looks like.
Yeah,
Like
gnarly. I don't
literally,
know
you
if
could
that's
see like the bone, which is crazy. Um, it was just crazy, and it sucked that it ended his career. Um, but yeah, no, that I really recommend that documentary. It was kind of crazy to see, but you feel for the guy because
right.
his career was just kind of rocky to begin with, right? He was hurt a lot. He went through a lot of coaching staff, turnover in San
Oh yeah,
Francisco.
San Francisco.
And then finally, when they got Jim Harbaugh, it's like when everything clicked, right? But then he gets hurt. Colin Kaepernick comes
Kaepernick,
in, and that's the next guy. And then he goes again with Andy Reid, and
in
he was pretty
2011.
successful with the Chiefs, right? He had some good seasons, but then again, Mahomes comes in, takes his spot, and that was the end of it.
Woo!
So you
Damn,
feel
poor
for the guy
guy.
because of all that career. But yeah,
That's so nuts.
we kind of went down another rabbit hole here with the Niners.
No, but like this is kind of cool because we saw the Randy Moss thing and like you know what I mean. There's so many things that just change the outcome of the universe by one player and one season. You know, so like this is kind of cool. And like
yeah,
07, yeah, Frank Gore. I mean, he was the bright spot in offense, and then you had Patrick Willis. Man, he was the one who started that defense train over there.
it just sucks. I'm sure Niners fans agree with me. They probably would have loved to see Patrick Willis play a couple more seasons, right? He essentially just played 7 seasons in the NFL, and then retired after the 14 season. So that's pretty sad, but it is what it is. Kind of like Luke Kuechly.
Oh man, Luke Kuechly. Man, that dude was so good. Oh, I love Luke Kuechly.
He also burst into the scene.
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal. Like he was the Panthers, like for sure, bright spot. So like I said, mine are predated 25 years on most of them.
Oh
on
my
defense.
lord!
But
which player from 1936 are you picking?
Man, they had some fun names
Bronco
back then.
Nagurski.
Yeah, tip it about two. But 1981, Ronnie Lott, cornerback. We're staying with San Francisco. Apparently, this is a San Francisco trend right now. But
Yep.
okay, so in 1980, the total defense. Remember how when I told you in Madden I traded for Joey Porter Jr. and then my defense just like for some reason just solidified and just became an onslaught of insanity. So basically that's what happened with Ronnie Lott. 1980, the San Francisco 49ers defense was 26th in the league, and then 1981 they went to second. From that to that, and his physical play obviously changed the dynamic of cornerbacking play. He had two picks in the divisional round against the Giants, and he basically is what helped and prevailed them to start their franchise of the 80s. Ronnie Lott.
Hmm.
Oh man. So, and I think he's the guy who they cut off this finger, right? Like he just said, just
Yep.
take off my finger. I mean, for those that don't know, go look it up. Ronnie Lott, his finger is just like dangling, and he's like, I need to go out and play. Just clip it off, clip the tip off, and then let me just tape it up and go out. Like, what a man. Like, what a G. But yeah, this
That
dude, 1981. Oh,
that's a
he's from
guy who
Albuquerque.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah,
Fun little
that's
fact there.
yeah,
But to your point with that whole finger debacle there, yeah, you're right. I think it was a playoff game too, and he was like, I ain't stepping out of this game. So you either
right.
amputate it or I play with it like that. And they're like, all right, we'll just amputate it.
7 INTs as a rookie, 3 touchdowns as a rookie, and combined 89 times. But they said with his physical play, the defense just took a whole nother level, and that's why I went from 26th to second within a year, and it prevailed them to their Super Bowl. So it
Yeah.
started the whole regime of the 49ers onslaught of the 80s, and that's pretty much what they won 4 Super Bowls that decade. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, he was the franchise player
Yeah,
on that defense.
Ronnie Lott, and he even had a cool defensive name like Ronnie Lott. Like, you ain't coming down this lot, bro. I'm about to whoop your ass. He was someone that you were just fearful to go up against as a wide receiver because he was about to hit you hard. And then he's showing you his finger, like, yo, bro, look, I just cut this off just to play you. How about that? And then you're probably thinking, like, wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean you just cut it off? Yeah, bro. Ain't no time off. But yeah, he transcended and changed the quarterback position forever. A lot of these
Yep.
defensive players changed the league forever that I have
I
on my
bet you
list.
I bet you Ronnie Lott was probably looked up by a lot of safeties and cornerbacks back then because
Oh,
he brought the power. Like he would if you caught something over the middle, good luck. Yep.
until
It's like a big
now,
train.
because even coaches and stuff now were players back then or knew who he was, so they're like, hey man, you want to see physical, look up Ronnie Lott. And then
Yep.
they probably going down the YouTube train, and it was just like, oh my god, like this dude is a monstrous man of a cornerback. And cornerbacks are not usually known for their tackling, right? Not for their hit sticking. This dude,
Yep.
I'm gonna take your damn head off if you come my way. Let's just say that. So yeah, so two more people that are not, that are way predated of the 25 years, and then there's one person that's on the list. But the reason why I mentioned when I mentioned the next guy, you're gonna be freak out about the Javon Curse thing, because when I read this, I was like, what the hell? Like, that's a thing, that's real. But yeah, so Ronnie Lott was my second. Danny, we're gonna go to your third offensive player.
All right, let me gather my notes here. So my third player is another running back, 2007 Adrian Peterson. Do you remember
Woo,
that rookie season? Like
dude.
that dude was that dude was on every. You know how Fox has those. We're going to show you the highlight or the next score type
Oh
of
yeah.
thing. He
Oh,
was
it
always
was
on that
Adrian
next score.
the whole damn time.
Yep, just running, taking a ball to the house, right? 70 yards, easy.
Damn, oh 07.
There was even one, and I remember it because it was against the Bears, so I hated that guy. But he had two long touchdown runs against us, and both of them were against Peanut Tillman. So he just burst into the scene, and man, he was just amazing. So I have it here. He actually ran for 1,300 yards,
Hmm.
and he actually got lost it now. Shoot, I was looking at the wrong one. No, no, 1,300 yards, and had 12 touchdowns. So yeah, it's not the equivalent of 15 touchdowns that we mentioned earlier, but again, at a time where the NFL was evolving from strictly running to now passing, because you could easily
Right.
say at that time it was becoming more of a passing league now, especially with Peyton Manning, with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, all of
Um,
them. Drew
yeah.
Brees, Tony Romo. I mean, this is an onslaught of passers, especially that
Mm-hmm.
'07 year. I mean, you look at that '07 year. You had Drew Brees flying high, Romo flying high, Brady. That's that perfect season flying high. You
Yep.
know. So
Eli
yeah.
Manning.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And they had
there's just
what?
a
They had
lot
what?
of
They had Christian Ponder, right? Or who was the quarterback in '07 for the
in
Vikings?
Minnesota. Yep, I think you're right. It was probably Christian Ponder. If not, it was Brad Johnson. Um,
Oh yeah.
but I don't remember. Maybe it was Gus Farrat. Remember Gus Farrat?
Gus Farrat. Damn, taking down memory lane, man. Gus Farrat. I love that. But yeah, oh man, Adrian Peterson was so crazy coming out of Oklahoma. He's
Yep.
like, he's like, I'm about to just roll this NFL out of nowhere, and he showed up. Like he proved them right, or he
Y-
proved himself right because he told everyone, I'm going to show you what I am.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
just
he
how
didn't stop.
cut and like massive of muscle, like he was just he didn't look real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is that he didn't back down from anything. He would actually take on tacklers, right? And he would bounce off.
Yeah, he would hit him.
Like,
Yeah.
mhm. And
Oh
that's exactly what he did in Oklahoma. And I remember, you know, in the draft that when he was coming out, a lot of people were questioning his physicality, saying, "Oh, that's not going to happen in the NFL." But when he bursted onto the scene, I should say, he ran exactly like he did in Oklahoma. So that's a player that will always stick out to
yeah,
me
he
just based
he
off of the
was
production.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he ran too. Like he ran like with a mission. Like he had his head down and he was just like, all right, here comes the helmet. Here's mine. Boom. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
he just ran aggressively with rage and aggression, and like he was the epitome of like making a 99 overall player Madden would be back then. When you would create a player and you would make him the fastest, strongest mojo in the damn game, that's what Adrian Peters was when he came out of the league.
Yeah. No, no, this guy, he knew how to approach the position for sure. And then it was cool to see him paired up with Brett Favre in '09. Right, that
Mm-hmm.
success that they had in Minnesota, being
Shoo.
one game away from the Super Bowl. But yeah, no, he was a lot of the Minnesota Vikings success came because of him, and then they just paired it with Brett Favre, and it was a beautiful relationship that was
Man,
very beneficial.
them they had what Percy Harvin too on that team, and
Percy Harvin, yep,
um, yeah, they had a few
that dude
good
also made
studs,
an
man. That
impact.
Kyle Rudolph, man, Kyle Rudolph was bomb. He was a
Hmm.
great tight end. But yeah, Adrian Peterson, man, he was something else. Like I would just look and be like, is this like how is this real? Like he's just making things look insanely crazy, but looking like it's normal.
Yeah, and you just mentioned a lot of good names for the Vikings, right? Apparently, they were probably picking high in the draft, which is the reason they got all those players like Percy Harvin and Kyle Rudolph. But like, it just sucks, right? That the quarterback, they never solidified that position. They never got the quarterback
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah, they
wild.
got two good seasons of Brett Favre, but then after that, they were right back to where they started. And then eventually Kirk Cousins, but then Kirk Cousins didn't have the supporting cast that they did earlier in the
Yeah,
2010s.
oh yeah, like he didn't have an Adrian Peterson when he started. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no way. But yeah, it was a weird that transition of the Minnesota Vikings was bizarre, right? Like they had one great year, like, hey man, they're gonna be relevant for a while, and then they just like
Yep.
dropped really, really quick. And yeah, poor Peterson, man, he deserved at least two more better teams, right? Overall, just to see if he can like win MVP in the playoffs or even in the Super Bowl because like he had the engine, he just didn't have all the supporting pieces.
Yeah, and if you think about it now, with like this year with the draft, right? The Vikings had two number one picks or first round picks, not number one, first round picks, and they got J.J. McCarthy and they got Dallas Turner. They could have used those two picks to move up and get a quarterback because that's all they're missing. You have a stud receiver in Justin Jefferson, and
Right.
you have a up and comer in Jordan Addison, and I mean you have I don't know,
Yeah.
you
Instead
just
of
had a
letting
lot.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like you're restarting this whole process again, right? You have the stud receivers, good tight ends, okay running back. Well, now you have a good running back in Aaron Jones, but then who's your quarterback, right? It's like,
Right. Sam Darnold. I mean,
mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. Oh man, but I feel you. All right, Danny. So my this is our third offense. Okay. Third offense um came right after Adrian Peterson's rookie year, 2008. Matt Ryan
Ooh,
for
that's a
the
good one.
Atlanta Falcons. Because of Kyle Shanahan's debacle coaching staff and the defense of him blowing up the damn Super Bowl and letting the Patriots come back 28-3 from 28-3. Matt Ryan's going to go down as one of those dudes that people kind of fade off and probably forget, 10 to 15 years because of that. But that's how the train rolls. But his rookie year, 3,444 yards, 17 touchdowns. They went 11-5. Okay, so a rookie as a quarterback takes your team from 2, 3 miserable years because of like the whole Michael Vick thing, and then he turns around and his rookie year he takes you 11-5 to playoffs. I mean,
That's a good start.
yeah. Remember I told y'all too. Remember me, you, Gabe, and a few others were like, "Hey man, what do you think about the quarterback class?" I was like, "Well, it depends where you put these positions." I was like, Matt Ryan will probably be the best overall quarterback coming in this draft, but will he be in the best position to succeed? And I think there was another quarterback in this draft that like had a better team that won like consistently. I forgot who the other quarterback was that went to a decent team.
I'll tell you right now. But continue your thoughts.
But yeah, so I mean, 3,440. The fact that he made them 11-5 from what they were a year or two before when they were just like dying and just not good at all. He was the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah. He was the number
Third,
third, the
third,
third, the
yeah.
third selection of the draft. Yeah, he was. So it was Jake Long, Chris Long, and then Matt Ryan to Atlanta.
Jake Long and Chris Long, all the longs were.
All the Longs. He had to wait a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see,
Yeah.
quarterbacks. So Matt Ryan, of course, was probably the best one coming out of that year from Boston College. And then later in the draft, Joe Flacco.
There you go. Like I said, I told y'all he would be the better quarterback, but someone is gonna get a better team, and it's gonna be what hurts him. And sure enough, Joe Flacco went to Baltimore and won a freaking Super Bowl because he had a badass team.
Yeah.
And he showed up. Oh man, Flacco was good that year. We already talked about that Broncos and Ravens game, and I told you that to me was probably the best team in the last 20 years, just because all the gauntlets that they had to go through to win. And then,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I said, Matty Ice went to a team that needed a savior, and then Flacco went to a team that just said, "Hey man, just don't throw 20 interceptions and we'll be fine." Because we got the defense, we got the coach, we got the team, and sure enough, boom, let's go win us a championship.
And Matty Ice had a really good rookie season, and then he also his first game as a rookie. I remember that he threw a deep ball. No, that wasn't against the Bears. It was another team. That was in the 08 season, though. You're right. That was against the Bears, and he brought them back to he brought them back with like seconds left, and I didn't think it was possible. And sure enough,
I,
it was.
I think you and I were texting, right? And then I go, Danny,
Yeah.
he's gonna. I was like, they left too much time on the clock. He's gonna win. And you're like, there's no way, no one can do this. And then you're like, this is so stupid. How the fuck do we do this? I remember that because I was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, he's gonna come up clutch. He's Matty Ice for a reason. and then I was like, oh damn, they won. Like, what the hell?
I believe it. I don't know if it was the first play of his first game in the NFL, but it might have been his first series.
He just throws a
as a
long
quarterback.
bomb.
Yeah, it was just a touchdown. I'm trying to find it here. See if we can show it.
Remember Roddy White, man? I love Roddy White, man.
Yeah, Roddy White. All right, first professional pass. Yeah, it was a touchdown. Hold on, let me show
I
you. It was
wanna
against
see
the
this.
Lions.
The very first play or very first pass.
Very first pass was against the Lions. Very
He's-
first play.
Well, I mean, back then it was the Lions, so that's
True.
kind of cool though. That's cool though. Hey, as a rookie and your first pass is a touchdown, that's a good start.
Check it out here. Let me.
I'm
pull it
telling you,
up.
his rookie campaign was phenomenal. Look at the blurriness. Woo. And that's all she wrote. Who's the person? I can't. It's so foggy.
Number 2. Who is that? Or 12?
Look at him. Look at those uniforms too. That's when the year or two after Vic and
I can't
oh,
tell
man,
who
I
that
can't even
was.
see it. I know.
But yeah, that's what I remember about Matt Ryan's rookie year, other than him beating the Bears, of course. But Yeah.
That was so fun. That was hilarious. But yeah, man, I that rookie year was just like, damn, this dude's gonna be bomb. But I was right on both accounts. He was the better quarterback in that draft, but he was the one that lost out because Joe Flacco got drafted by the Ravens.
he
I
should
mean-
have been a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you let them come back 28 to 3. Like that, the fact that they kept trying to pass long instead of running the clock down, shame
Mhm.
on the coaching staff. I mean, it's so fun. It's like Marshawn Lynch. How the hell are you going to pass it on the goal line? And then with the Falcons, why don't you waste the clock? Run the ball, kneel the ball 3 times, and then you're still wasting clock. There's no way they come back.
Yeah, that was the start of an avalanche of just momentum swings to the Patriots.
It was insane. But shame on the coaching staff of the Falcons. They literally
That was a
lost.
good one. But I'll just say
All right.
this to close out with Matt Ryan. If what's his name? Kurt Warner is a Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan should be a Hall of Famer too.
Absolutely.
Yes, he didn't have the Super Bowl, but still, like, he had the production. He was consistent.
And they probably
deserves it.
have almost the same stats too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Honestly, like, I was thinking about this other day. Kurt Warner had a really good team in St. Louis. And then after that, it was just kind of like up and down, right?
Right.
And then it kind of picked back up when he went to
The Cardinals.
Arizona. But other than that, like, if I was a Hall of Fame voter, I don't think I would have voted him in based off of just his trajectory of his career. You know, the inconsistencies of it.
Right.
And for him, he was the first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
I don't think so. Maybe second or third year. But I mean, it was pretty quick after he retired.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
felt-
just think, well, and they go based off of Arena and the Canadian or whatever he did. Like they look at that too. Like they're like, man, we slept on this guy, and plus he does the NFL Network. You know what I mean? Like he does so
Mhm.
much for the game, so it's easy for them to look at him. Especially, I mean, your rookie year, you win a Super Bowl, or your second year or whatever. You know what I mean? Like your second stint in the NFL, and you win a Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit. But
That's a good
man, that's awesome. But so what did we just do? Oh, your
That was-
third defensive player, Danny.
My third one is going back to Niners. It's a Niners podcast
Man,
today.
I know, Jesus.
But I don't know if you remember this name, Aldon Smith.
Aldon Smith, of course. How can I forget it? He tried to resurrect his career with us, I think, at the very end. But Didn't
Yeah,
pan
and it
out.
worked, right? I mean,
Well,
he had a
well, it
really good
worked for a
first
little
year.
bit. Yeah, yeah, it worked a little bit, and then, but
Yeah,
yeah, Alden
that,
Smith, man.
just take a look at it. Let me pull it up real quick on Pro Football Reference. But for him,
Who
go ahead. What were you gonna ask?
who was the guy, the same defensive line in San Francisco that was before him? Because I remember Alden Smith and him came from Missouri. They came from the exact same college, and it was crazy. So the San Francisco 49ers drafted the guy before, a
Hmm.
few years beforehand. They're like, man, no one's gonna touch your sack record in Missouri. And then sure enough, Alden Smith surpassed it. And it's just like, what? And then the 49ers drafted him too. And it's just like they just followed each other. And I forgot what the guy's name was. Because it was Patrick Willis, Alden Smith, and someone else that just wreaked havoc for a while in San Francisco.
Trying to think back. Hmm. I don't remember. I remember Justin Smith on that defensive line.
That's him.
Justin Smith.
Yes. Yes. It was literally like he came from college. They're like, man, your sack record at this university will never be passed. And sure enough, Alden Smith did it in a year or two later. And then San Francisco drafted both of them.
Oh, I didn't know it was Justin Smith.
Yeah.
Well, they were both, they were both solid players for sure. But Alden Smith, check this out. His rookie year,
But Alden Smith.
two,
Hold on, Justin Smith.
2011. He, of course, what the hell? I guess he didn't even start. He wasn't even starting. But he has 14 sacks. A
That's
half a sack
crazy.
shy from, Javon Curse's record as a rookie. And again, this is coming at a time where I want to say it was Jim Harbaugh's first year. If not, it was probably the year before Jim Harbaugh. I can't remember exactly.
Right.
But
Do you
for
remember
him
the
to have,
coach right before Harbaugh?
wasn't it? It was Mike Singletary, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Singletary. Oh, I want winners. Can't play with them. Can't win with them. Vernon Davis, right?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, then go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
No, no problem. No, so that was 14 sacks, 31 solo. Again, I mentioned this, right? And this is probably what makes Reggie White's stats so impressive. He had 100 tackles combined tackles here for defensive end, 37, and then solo 31. He still had a lot of tackles on his own, and then 13 tackles for loss. Like that's an important stat, and that's something that people don't typically really harp on because it really does make a difference. That means that he's penetrating enough to stop the the running back behind the line of scrimmage,
Yes.
or receiver, whoever may be, running that ball. And then quarterback hits 27. Like that just shows he had a lot of pressure. He was generating a lot of pressure to the backfield. And for a rookie to come into the league with 14 sacks and have that level of production, getting to the quarterback, I think that just speaks volumes of it. And it is impressive. I mean, think about it. He could have had another sack and he would have broke the record. Crazy. It's just sad to see how his career just spiraled out of control, based off his off the field issues and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, like how many? What? Go down. He was out of the league for what? Look at that.
Yeah, a few years.
4 years, man. Dang, that's
Then
crazy.
in Oakland, he
2020.
had 3.5 sacks. In Dallas, he was there the whole year, but he did contribute. He had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was a starter, right?
Uh,
Yeah, he was.
I don't. He was.
It says game started. 16.
That's
I don't remember
crazy.
that.
I don't either. But well, and plus the way we ran our defense too, everyone was in and out. So at that time because of COVID and all that. But yeah, that's crazy. He missed 4 years. Like, look at all the time he could have had to. He could have probably had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. I mean, look at 2012. 19 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that consistently and not get in trouble, like, what are you doing, man? Damn, poor guy. But he did it to himself. He could have had a Hall of Fame career. Like he was a stud.
Yeah. He was an impact player for sure.
Oh, for sure. Man, this is so fun. Like, this is crazy. All right, Danny, let me blow your damn mind right now. This is why I put this guy on this list because I was reading. I was like, there's no way. So Sacks were not a stat until 1982. Like they didn't calculate them, they didn't care about them. Of course, it was like, well, whatever. Your job is to tackle the quarterback anyway, or tackle anyway. So Al Baker, 1978 rookie year for the Detroit Lions. 1982, like I said, the sacks became relevant. His
Mhm.
rookie year, 23 sacks.
What?
Look at it, I know. Like the next defensive player that had close to sack to him was 5.5 behind him. Now it's people tying for first. There's close. I beat him by one. He beat the second person by 5.5 sacks that year.
Who's this?
His name's Al Baker, Detroit Lions. And
Al Baker.
look it up, man. When I read that, I was like, "There's no way."
They call him Bubba.
But Bubba Baker. Maybe that's why I knew him as Bubba Baker because I don't remember Al Baker.
Shit.
Yeah, see,
You're
that's
right.
what the hell. So 23 sacks his rookie year. Within 3 years, he had 56.5. That's only in 3 years, and that was before they even cared about sacks and tackles for losses. How do you have 23 sacks your rookie year? It's not even a damn stat.
Damn.
Right?
That would piss me off if I was Al Baker, if I was Bubba.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna
he could have had
bubble my gum all over you.
he could have had 2 records. He could have had the rookie sack record. He could have had Michael Strahan's record for most sacks.
Yes.
And because it didn't count, it didn't happen.
That's what I'm like. I hate the NFL should change that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like you've already made all these new stats and stuff. Like let the actual, like that's the stupid home run derby thing. I hate the home run derby. A guy can score 40 home runs in the first round, but then later if he has like 10, he loses. I'm like, bro, he just scored 80 total. How the hell does he lose? It's a home run derby. You're supposed to hit the most home runs in a derby. How do you lose if you hit the most? But
After
anyway,
the guy's all tired.
yeah, like well, of course he's gonna tire. He just hit 80. Like what the hell? Give him a break. But I'm like, they should the home run derby should change that way, and then this should change as the record because this dude he had 23 in 1 year as a rookie.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah, you blew my mind.
I told you, and I was like, don't worry, you're not gonna care about the year when I say this because it's gonna like change the whole aspect of everything. They said he changed the game. Well, sort of, because a few years later, someone else changed the game completely. But like 23 sacks as a rookie, and you're 5.5 ahead of the next person. Like, like what the hell?
Damn.
He had 131 sacks his whole career.
And
what?
he's not in the Hall of Fame.
How?
Dang. So let's look at his production year over year. Okay, so he had the 23 in 1978. Oh, again, it didn't count. That's probably why.
Oh my god.
So 1982. After that, let's count from 82 and on. So eight and a half sacks, 13 sacks, 10 sacks, 4, 10, 3, 5, 7. Yeah. Okay, if you look at it,
And
from
he
that
went look at
perspective-
the teams he went to. They were all crappy back then. So he got
Yeah.
shitted on no matter where he went. Bubba Baker. You know what? Dude, I remember as Bubba Baker. No lie. So 23 his rookie year with Demon freaking counter. Are you kidding me? Like this dude should be in the Hall of Fame. Like what are they doing?
Yeah, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. They can't just ignore the fact that he got 23 sacks.
Sometimes sometimes sports is stupid just because like I think before Babe Ruth, like before they started Babe Ruth's home runs, he was already hitting home runs before that, but they had to change the game because they're like we can't keep the ball in. We're gonna have to change the game because other people are trying to hit it out too. But can you imagine if they tallied the ones that didn't count for him?
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
Come on, like 100, like 23, and he had 131 his whole career, and that doesn't count. Are you kidding me?
How do you feel if you're Michael Strahan, knowing that you don't truly have the record?
I'm gap tooth. Like I'm split between my life, Like, dude, there's no way. No, but all honesty, Michael Strahan, I hope your daughter has like an amazing life and recovery from all the shit she's been through, and you. But like football wise, like nah, man, like you should not have the record. All respect, like this dude should have the record.
Bubba Baker.
Bubba Baker, dude, I'm about to mail the NFL right now. Bubba Baker, bro, like this is like 23 as a rookie, like as a rookie, like,
Let,
like
let's get Bubba to the Hall of Fame. We have to
dude,
at least do that.
yes.
That's our mission.
All right, petition, ladies and gentlemen, like, share, follow. Like, let's get the NFL acknowledge this dude. Like, how is he not in the Hall of Fame? And plus, how does he not have the record? If there is a stat now, why can't he have it? Like, that's crap.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I told you I was gonna blow your mind. Like, that's insane.
you did. You're blowing my mind. You're educating me. You're doing all of the above.
Sheesh. Oh man, that's insane.
Kudos to you
All right.
for the research there.
Oh my god, like I'm depressed, but let's move on so we can like not feel for this man. Hopefully he's still alive and we can petition him. I hate when they like wait till they're dead and they're like, all right, now it's time for the Hall of Fame. Like, no, man,
Right, yeah.
do it while they're alive so they can live it and see it. They'll never know. Like, they never know that they're in the Hall of Fame. Like, how sad. All right, sir. Your next offensive person? Your number 4th?
I'm gonna go with Superman.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, did you see his list lately? He put Dak over a lot of mojos.
Really? I didn't see
Over
that list.
even over Jalen Hurts. Because honestly, even though I shit on Dak a lot, I'll put Dak over Hurts any day.
You would?
Take out the tush push, and then all the pieces that they brought in, Danny. When they brought in AJ Brown, Devine, all of them,
He was a different player.
and the team success. Like, we're talking about one position, one quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Who plays better, Dak or Hurts? If you just put them on an average team.
Well, you know,
Dak.
Dak has had an average team to start, you know, and then now
And
he has
still
a
was
solid squad.
productive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
I give it to Dak.
Cam Newton put him over several good quarterbacks. So I
Wow.
was like,
So-
all right, bro.
So of course it was Patrick. I got to take a look at that list. I'm curious. All right, so Cam Newton here. So we have Cam. Cam was a sensation too that year. Like just the way he started off.
Ooh.
And
Remember,
again,
oh
coming from the national championship
yeah,
into the NFL.
My heart. Oregon should have won the championship. Stupid Chip Kelly. God, I'll never forgive you, bro. That was the
Chip
one
Kelly.
and probably only chance that we probably had a national title in our freaking belt, our hand, and we let it go because of your stupid ass. Kick the
That
field goal.
was who was the quarterback for the Ducks? It wasn't Mariota at that time, right?
No, I don't
That was
think
before
so.
his time.
It might have been right before Mariota, or might have been his rookie or his like freshman year. I don't know. Nah, it wasn't Mariota. But anyway, if he would have kicked the field goal even twice instead of trying to go for it 4th down, all we could have just kicked the field goal and won the game, or we probably would have been in the lead. Auburn beat the Ducks by like 4 points, but he kept going for it on 4th down on the goal line every time.
Got too cute.
Yeah, it's stupid, man.
That's what happens. Now you got me thinking about that national championship game. All right, so let's go to Cam. So
This
Cam,
has been a fun episode.
Yeah, it has. So Cam again didn't have the best record. He was 6-10 as a rookie, but look, check this out: 4,000 yards passing.
Yeah. Well, his team was
4,000
trash too.
Yeah, his team was trash, but I want to say that he still took advantage of Steve Smith, right? That was last year.
That was the best player.
So he was still there. 21 touchdowns throwing the ball, or passing touchdowns, I should say.
Right.
17 interceptions. Yeah, he had a lot of interceptions, but check this out.
Rookies
Where
always
he
do.
made- Yeah, that's a learning curve, right? So you go up to, oh, I'm looking at the wrong section here. You scroll down to rushing. This is where he made a huge difference too, especially at the goal
yeah.
line, right? So
14
you had-
touchdowns.
14 touchdowns to add on top of that 21.
Sheesh.
That's a dynamic player
Right.
and somebody who's making an impact, right? Even if they're not winning games, he's still contributing to the success of the offense. 700 yards rushing, like that's almost 1,000 yard rushing after throwing 4,000 yards passing. Like, come on, like that's
Bro.
unheard of.
Cam Newton was so I loved him when he came out. I was like, dude, this dude's gonna be. And then he was so his energy, ripping the shirt off, like like it was just
Yeah.
fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Was it the Bears that he was like, oh yeah, check this out, look, watch?
No.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
was
I was
the Packers.
Oh, it's the Packers. Yeah,
He was
good.
playing against Clay Matthews.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's cute. Like, check this out. I'm gonna throw it right here. He did exactly that. Scored a touchdown. Woo! But
That's
yeah, I
probably
loved
like
him.
the dopest interaction between a quarterback and a defensive player right before
Oh,
it
yeah.
snaps the ball.
Well, and especially he told them what that was gonna happen. He's like, hey, bro, right here, check it. Like, it's going right here, check it. And he
Yeah.
still did it. Like, oh man. But yeah, his
It's
rookie
crazy.
year-
It's crazy that after he left Carolina, though, he didn't have the success anymore. Like, it kind of just dropped off immensely. Right? He became a different player for sure.
Gabe said, Michael Vick? Question mark. Where's he at?
Who's that?
I don't know.
But, yeah.
Hey Gabe, it was a rough decision.
But no, I did look at Michael Vick though, and his stats just don't add up to what Cam Newton did his first year. And then
No.
again, Michael Vick didn't start a lot of the games his rookie year. He kind of
Yeah,
came in after Chris Chandler.
Chris Chandler, yes, and then Jim Mora Jr. was the coach, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think Cam just he made a
No, yeah,
difference,
Cam-
even though he
Cam-
didn't win a lot.
Cam changed the entire face of the Panthers
Yeah, that he did.
because Michael Vick was on to doing that, and then of course his issues off the field changed that whole dynamic. But yeah, like Cam played there for 10, 15 years or something.
Almost 10 years,
Yeah.
8 years, and then he moved on to New England, and then went back to Carolina in 2021. So yeah, he had a 10-year career,
Yeah.
but he took a lot of punishment.
I still think he can play. Like I think if someone gave him a chance and try to I think he can. I don't know. I think if you put him in the right position, like Brady was his last hurrahs in Tampa Bay, I think Cam can provide. You take away all the drama from Deshaun Watson and put a Cam Newton there for Cleveland, I think he would excel.
So check this out, and I thought about this back then. So the Bears drafted Justin Fields in 2021,
Right.
and they paired him with Andy Dalton. That was their veteran quarterback that was going to show him the ropes. This guy was a free agent. This guy was a free agent at that time, and instead they went with Andy Dalton. Imagine what Cam Newton could have showed Justin Fields.
Oh man, the red rifle, the red over Superman. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Andy
we paid
Dalton
that
was
guy.
the backup of Justin Fields.
No, well, see, Andy Dalton was signed prior to the draft, right? So they didn't even know they were going to draft Justin Fields. So that was our quarterback, our starting quarterback.
Sort of.
Yeah, but they ended up getting Justin Fields, and then they still anointed Dalton as a starter. after that.
Kirk Cousins and the Falcons all over again, huh?
I don't know, but what could have been, right? That would have been the best role model. If you think about even the play style, right? They're very similar. They're running quarterbacks. You could have taught him some tips there. What does Gabe have to say?
No, Jay, that ship. What ship? The field ship or what? What's he talking about?
The Dalton, probably that too. Dalton ship, the field ship.
Oh man. But yeah, Cam Newton's rookie year was a sensation to watch. Like it was just, I loved him. I was like, dude, this dude's gonna be a baller for a long time.
He just didn't have he had a lot of good years. Look at this, like 4,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. He averaged 3,000 yards passing. Not only that, but this is passing.
Oh wow!
But check this out. 4,000, 3,000, 3,000. After 2014, he probably would have been the Bears' all-time passing leader. That's just how bad they are at that position.
That's so crazy.
So
I'm glad Gabe's watching today. What's up, Gabe? It's good to hear from you.
Yeah.
But man, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks. Where you been? Oh man, this is fun, dude. This has been a cool episode, just learning stuff. And I guess you know how the 49ers have been the trend of the NFL on teams. Well, Oregon apparently, Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace. Then Auburn beating Oregon championship. Stupid Chip Kelly. But my next guy broke all rookie records in 2020 from my University of Oregon. The man himself, the guy that I told you I would love forever, Justin Herbert, quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers, 31 touchdowns. He ran for 5, and then he has, I think, almost every record from passing yards to attempts to, and like I told you in that stat. Look at that. Where's this 2020 campaign? Look at 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns. I mean, that dude was just, and he didn't break the record as a rookie for interceptions, so that's even better. Look at that. Pass attempts 595. But of course, like I said, when we did that, we were talking about stats and just like I forgot what episode, but I was like, Tony Romo 2.0 or whatever, like his offense since he came in the league has the most points in any team in a 5-year span. And then his defense has given up the most touchdowns in a 5-year span in the history of the NFL. Like that is the most mind-boggling stat I've ever heard in my life. How does this guy have the most points over Mahomes, over a good Brady in New England or Tampa Bay, over a higher, Dak is always scoring points too. This dude has the most points, but his defense gives up the most in history. Like that is the craziest stat ever. But look at his touchdowns. 31 his rookie year, 38 the next year, 25. Of course, he was hurt last year. So, I mean, he didn't even play that much. But look at that.
This is a good one. This is a good one. And honestly, like this is something that
Thank you,
kind of
Gabe.
upsets me about the NFL is that it all has to do with, I guess, like the success of a team, right? An overall team, in order for them to be recognized for it. And that's what pisses me off because CJ Stroud, he was having an up and down couple first games, and then all of a sudden he caught fire, right?
Right.
And they ended up winning a lot of games, and then they ended up making the playoffs. But statistically, you have 4,336 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like that is just that's
as a rookie.
Yeah, like he came on week 2 because of an injury.
And pros don't even do this. Like his rookie year, pros don't even do this.
So he missed one total game, could have been easily 4,500 passing yards.
Right.
Play the whole year. And then look, check this out. I'm gonna share something else real quick. So now I'm gonna share.
Since he's looking up something, Gabe, did you see about us talking about Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco? It's pretty much what Herbert, like falling into a crappy situation.
And it'll turn around now with Jim Harbaugh, though. That's a good thing. But anyways, look, check this out. 4,100 passing yards. Played all. No, he missed one game. So he played 15 games also. Same amount of games. 5 interceptions. That's awesome. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions, so he protected the football. But still, people were like, wow, will anyone ever replicate the success that CJ Stroud had?
Okay.
But the success was already replicated by,
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert the years before. People forget because, of course, he didn't make the playoffs. So that's where I have a hard time,
right.
being an NFL fan is that they don't get the recognition because of the lack of success of a team.
Bubba Baker with the stat not even being relevant at the time. Like this dude should be in the Hall of Fame. 23 sacks his rookie year.
Yeah. Bubba Baker.
Bubba. Man, it's so crazy that we're learning so much, and this is a fun episode. But yeah, look at Herbert, my boy, man, dude. Like I'm telling you, remember I was like, man, this guy is gonna be something. If you're getting recruited by NASA and you're able to play a sport at the same time, and then you're like, you know what, NASA, when I retire from the NFL, I'll probably call you back. But I love playing football a lot more. And I'm like, that's a genius and talented mojo. That look at all the worlds all the universes that he could be in. Like it's so crazy. But yeah, he's like, you know what? I love football so much. I'm gonna stick with football. Thank you, NASA, but I appreciate you. Like, it's so crazy, man.
He's
This
gonna
dude,
walk. He's gonna walk on the moon after he retires.
I'm sure he will. But like, man, I love him. He's got the coolest first name. I mean, and then he just balls out.
Just incredible.
Just incredible. Woohoo! Let's go. But yeah, man, he broke pretty much all the rookie records that Peyton Manning held for a long time.
Gabe is saying we need to check out Receiver. That
I
came out
saw
today. Good on
it came out
Netflix.
today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the
Nice.
next thing I'm gonna do after this. Is I'm
We're
gonna go
talking
check
about
out that.
Netflix, and not not an adult site, right? Because Receiver can be many things, Gabe. I'm just making sure. All right, Danny. Woo! This has been
Where
fun.
do
So you're
I lost track? So what am I? Offense,
we're
defense,
we're on our last. Oh yeah, our
last
oh my
offense,
god.
last defense.
No. Our fourth defensive player. This has been so fun that we still have another group. But this is our fourth defensive player.
All right. So the fourth defensive player for me is gonna be Aaron Donald,
Woo!
2014.
Woo!
Aaron Donald was a guy that I really wanted the Bears to draft in 2014, but the Rams took him a pick before they selected. So we ended up with I want to say the Bears ended up with Kyle Fuller, the cornerback.
So they picked it right before you guys?
Yeah, the Rams picked Donald right before us,
What year was this?
which 2014.
Wonder who we picked. Probably someone stupid.
So check this out. And it's not eye popping like what we were showing earlier with the 14, 15 sacks, but it is eye popping from a defensive tackle.
Oh,
role.
defensive tackle's tough.
Yeah, like Chris Jones now he did that, but even if you look at Chris Jones's rookie season, he didn't have the same level of production that Aaron Donald had. And that, again, I don't know if you remember the draft, right? A lot of people, which is probably the reason why he slid to 13, was the fact that Aaron Donald was short. So they didn't think that he was going to have the power to play defensive tackle, and all he did his rookie year was get 9 sacks from the middle of that defensive line. Again, combined with 48 combined tackles, 38 solo tackles, and then 18 tackles for loss. Like that just showed that the pressure he was generating up the middle,
Crazy.
and that never stopped. Like that was him every year for his whole career. And so, of course, based off of that production, he won Defensive Player of the Year. Again, when does a defensive tackle win Defensive Player of the Year? It's rare.
Right.
You just don't hear that.
Right.
You see Reggie White.
Yeah, there you go. The preach. But yeah, it's so crazy. And then I remember too the Rams and Bengals Super Bowl. I was at Applebee's, and one of the managers, Nick, was like, "Hey, so what do you think's happened?" I was like, "The Rams are gonna win, and Aaron Donald's gonna get the game-winning play that decides the fate of the Super Bowl. He's not gonna lose another one. He already lost one. He's not gonna want to feel that pain again. So when it comes down to it, he's gonna get the last play that's gonna change the alter of the game." And sure enough, he's the one who hit Burrow, and it was all that.
Yep, that was rap.
Mm-hmm.
Happy for him. I mean, that.
Remember when as soon as he hit Burrow, he was like this, "Ring me, ring me." That was so dope.
Well, he was on a mission, and actually, I watched the America's Game, the documentary with. I think what they've been doing is they've been going from team to team. So, I want to say Monday was the Patriots, yesterday was the Cowboys. Oh no, yeah, yesterday was the Cowboys, and then it was the Rams after that. But with the Rams, they talked about how Aaron Donald, he was always a quiet guy. Like you didn't know him to be that vocal leader.
Right.
And then that year when they made it to the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship against the Niners, it was pretty cool to see that Von Miller went up to him and challenged him. He's like, "You've been in the league for several years now. The guys respect you. You need to be that vocal leader now. So if you, come out of your comfort zone and become that vocal leader, people are going to follow you." And
Right.
sure enough, he did it against the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, who they have lost to, several times. Like
before that, yeah, you're right. Like they had beaten the Rams like 8 straight or something like that.
Yep, exactly. And so yeah, sure enough, and it was when Garoppolo was still their quarterback. So
Yeah, Jimmy G.
you know how the Niners were, right? They were streaky, right? They'd start off slow and then they would come back, and that was it. And so this time in the NFC Championship game, he made sure that he got out of his comfort zone, became that vocal leader, and sure enough, Von Miller was correct. Like everybody just played on a different level
Rallied
after that.
around him.
Yep, exactly. And so for the Super Bowl, same thing, right? Did the same thing. He was a leader on that field, and he was actually Joe Burrow could have easily won that Super Bowl. What are we seeing here?
It's just random. I just like you're talking about Donald. I just see like a picture of two guys kissing. I'm like, what's happening over here?
Kevin Hart there.
I don't know what it is, but that was just random. I was
I
like,
could, I could tell you got distracted there.
I was like, what the heck's going on? Yeah, Gabe, what kind of stuff? What kind of receiver are we talking about? Oh man, that's too funny. But anyway, all right, that's better. Wolverine, Deadpool, a little less R-rated. But
yeah,
man, that's our Aaron Donald was just such a game changer, right? It's just this dude is so amazing.
and
I
then
mean,
check this out. Like this is in itself is pretty impressive. 2018, that's the year they actually went to the Super Bowl, I believe, right? I
mhm.
want to say they played the Patriots.
Yeah, they
Um,
lost like what 9-3 or something.
yeah, it was a low
It was
scoring
like
game.
the stupid Super Bowl.
But that 20 and a half sacks, again, from a defensive tackle, like, that's unheard of.
They
So,
were on a mission that year.
so this guy will be a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh yeah, he's so good, man. So, man, this has been so fun. Um, big time fun. So my next guy is finally the first guy in the 20th century. You'll be very happy with that.
Better be.
But 2021 rookie campaign, a guy that's just he gets held on every play now, and then now the NFL's trying to figure out how to try not to get him held because the Dallas Cowboys were about to file a lawsuit towards the end of last year. Michael Parsons, 13 sacks, 20 tackles for a loss, 30 quarterback hits, 3 forced fumbles his rookie campaign. And then what's crazy, so the previous year, the Cowboys scoring defense, of course, we're talking about the 20th century, it's all offense, all quarterback touchdowns. The Cowboys scoring offense or defense went from 28th in the league to 7th from the jump. And starts with number 11, Michael Parsons. That dude has been a force to reckon with ever since he started. And then some of his touchdowns have been crazy too. Like I think he's scored more touchdowns in his early career than he should have, to be honest. I think he's already scored 4 or 5. But that's he's just always around the ball and ready to run like that. Remember you and I were watching that Bears Cowboys game when he like didn't get touched by, for some reason, not even a pinky by anybody, even there's bodies everywhere. He didn't get touched once and they just ran for a touchdown. And it was so crazy. Remember, Fields jumps over him to not get hit by other Cowboys. And then that was just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Gabe was there. Gabe remembers that.
Do you remember that, Gabe? I do. Because I was like, Danny, he didn't get touched. And you're like, there's no way. And then sure enough, they're slowing it down. I was like, how is that possible? Like, I thought he was touched too. But yeah, so Michael Parsons has just been a hell on earth for offenses and quarterbacks as soon as he stepped in the league. Of course, his sack total is already at 40.5, and he's in 3 years. I mean, that's hell of a stat. Quarterback hits 80, tackles for a loss 51, solo tackles 142 total. Like that's insane by himself in 3 years. That's a tally to. And then
you gotta educate me a bit on Michael Parsons. So when he was drafted, he wasn't gonna be a defensive end, right? He was gonna be a linebacker.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. He's a defensive end now because they saw how good he was at rushing the quarterback. But his rookie year, he was a stand-up linebacker, and he did all that wrecking. So imagine if he would have been defensive end the whole time, and they told him to go get the quarterback. His sack total would have probably possibly doubled, So it was crazy. And he wanted to be drafted by Dallas, and he sat the year off in Penn State because of the whole COVID thing. Of course, people, NFL, sports teams, college pros were able to sit a year. He did. He didn't play for Penn State 2020 and 2019. Penn State was actually at a bowl game in Dallas, and he told the reporters, "I want my NFL career to start where my college career ended," and that was at Texas Stadium. And he got his wish, and he's definitely provided us with hell of a lot of highlights and stats and like amazing moments. Because like, man, we need that guy. That dude is a game changer on defense for sure.
Yeah.
So
That's impressive. Just the way he started off as a traditional linebacker to a defensive end and just had that impact.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then Gabe said that was BS because he's talking about how
That play.
Fields just jumps over. Like, it's so mind-boggling. The fact that there's nothing but white jerseys and then Fields jumping over him.
Orange jerseys.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, Dallas is white jerseys, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like a white snow, and then there's the yellow snow that's jumping over him. And then they just get up and take off running because he's like, I didn't get touched. And we're like, and even the commentators, remember Burkhardt and Greg Olson were like, what happened? What's going on? Did he even get touched? And sure enough, he scored at least 3 or 4 touchdowns in his early career as a defensive end or linebacker. That's pretty good. He's always around.
That's crazy because they're only showing 1 touchdown for him. Maybe it was for like well, it says here, I don't know if it's just out of fumble recoveries he got a touchdown. I don't know. Interceptions, I don't see no touchdowns.
I'm sure he's had more than 1 because
pass coverage.
Because I've seen him score. That's 1. There's no way. If they're just doing the 1, then that's the one they're talking about, the the Justin Fields one. But I could have sworn last year or something he scored a touchdown too.
I don't know. Maybe you're imagining things.
I don't know, because I can remember him celebrating. I know. Poor Van Der Esch, he scored 1 too. That was against the Patriots. But anyway, yeah, Michael Parsons has definitely evolved and changed the new era. And people say he's the second coming of the last person I have on my list. So we'll get to there pretty soon. Man, we're almost. It's been such a fun, interesting show. We're almost at
it better not be Lawrence Taylor on your list, man.
All right, woo! All right, Danny. Your 5th and final offensive player that had a great offensive rookie season.
I'm gonna go with Y.A. Tittle as my. Just kidding.
Hey, that's a good one. I thought you were being for real. First, I was like, dude, Y.A. Tittle.
No,
you should show his stats.
I stuck to the last 25 years, man. All right, so for my last offense. 2012, Andrew Luck.
Oh, yeah. You had them.
Kind of, again, bringing home the point that C.J. Stroud deserves credit. He made an impact. And I'm not saying that at all. But when it comes to, like, similar seasons, rookie campaigns from the quarterback position, Andrew Luck had the same level of success statistically as C.J. Stroud. And if you look at his rookie year, again, he was with the Colts. And he had a really good record. He was 11-5,
just like Matty Ice.
4,300 yards passing, 23 touchdowns. Yes, a lot of interceptions, but he was a gunslinger, right? That's what he did. 18 interceptions, but still, again, you don't hear, the media say, oh, C.J. Stroud's performance is probably as good as Andrew Luck's performance, or they just forget about Andrew Luck now. And then they discredit Justin Herbert. So to me, like, that's what I have a problem with. Like, give everybody kudos, right? Especially for throwing over 4,000 yards. That's not an easy feat for any quarterback,
especially a rookie. And then throwing 23 touchdowns.
Yep. And then still taking your team to the playoffs. Like, that's just
3 straight years.
Yeah, that was with Chuck Pagano, I believe.
Yep, Chuck Pagano, poor guy. Then he started going through the cancer stuff, right?
Yep, and then Bruce Arians came in 2013, and then he went to, I want to say No, I think he took over 2012, and then he took off in 2013 to the Arizona Cardinals. But yeah,
Um, so look at that, 40 touchdowns in his 2014 campaign, and they still went 11-5. Like how crazy! Like that shows you team wins because not just someone. Your quarterback scores 40 touchdowns and you're 11-5. That means your defense is atrocious. It means your
hmm
coaching staff, like everyone else, is just out of not good or just not showing up. But damn.
yeah. And then again, he was probably throwing to like an older Reggie Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Probably had Pierre Garcon in there.
Pierre
Their
Garcon.
defense was probably not their best defense at that point. So like he didn't have the luxuries of a Peyton Manning, but still to
And
have this level of success just speaks volume of his talent.
and that was a young T.Y. Hilton too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Ty was there.
T.Y. Hilton. Man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, Andrew Luck's rookie year and then his playoff contribution, or like, yeah, his league contribution was awesome. And then, of course, he was going through his own battles and retired early. And hopefully he's okay now and doing better. And since then, the Colts haven't found luck with quarterback because they tried several years of older quarterbacks like Dallas did for a little while, under Parcells too, like Bledsoe, Testaverde, and then these dudes put out
hmm
Matt Ryan and Philip Rivers.
Philip
But I mean,
Rivers.
yeah, they're older, they're not in their prime. And then they get this Richardson kid who got hurt last year because all he does is run with his shoulder as a quarterback. That's never good.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
it's yeah. It's hopefully they figured it out with Richardson, but I don't like his play style. I think it's just too careless.
Yeah, I concur. But good notion. Andrew Luck is a good one for sure. My next one, 2022 in this generation, so you're happy. Garrett Wilson. The reason why he's on here is because the atrociousness of quarterback play that he's had this entire time, and yet 83 catches, 1,103 yards his rookie year. Obviously, 4 touchdowns are okay, but like I said, the last years, look at the quarterbacks he's had, and he's been consistent and dominant as he can be with atrocious quarterback play. He's had what, 6 quarterbacks starting? Joe
At
Flacco,
least,
Sturver, Wilson, Favre or Rogers for 10 seconds. I mean, like he's had terrible quarterback play, and he's look at that back-to-back years, 1,000 yards. He catches and runs. I mean, he does what a receiver is supposed to do. And it
yeah,
reminds me of when Andre Johnson went through the terrible quarterback rough spot for the Texans. Remember, like they didn't always have good, decent quarterbacks, and Andre Johnson just provided. And I see the same thing with this kid. I mean, he's only been 2 years, but I mean, he has shown up every day, hasn't complained, and just balled out. 1,000 receiving yards, and you're playing with shitty quarterbacks. I mean, that says a lot.
yeah. He doesn't have the TD production, unfortunately, but he does have the yardage, right? And
And
look at
look,
the receptions,
yeah, and look at the targets compared to reception. That means that they were like terrible passes, not good.
not long.
Getting him killed. So I give it to him. I had to give him his love because he's not getting love where he's at. So
Well, once Rogers, hopefully he's healthy enough to last the
yeah,
whole season.
I think Garrett Wilson will destroy 2023 if Rodgers is there. That's one of
2024.
oh yeah. 2024. I'm looking at his rookie year thing still. 2024. I think he'll destroy 2024 if Rodgers is healthy, and then he'll show what he's really capable of.
Yeah, I agree. I could, and I saw that level of production jumping, after his 2022 season, simply
Right.
because they got Aaron Rodgers, right? So it sucked that he didn't get the opportunity to really play with him last year. But if he's healthy, right, just the way that Rodgers can put the ball wherever he wants and give, his pass catchers the ability to run after the catch, like this is the guy you want, to have that opportunity to run after that catch.
And going back to the whole target reception type thing, Rodgers is hella accurate. So imagine let's say 147 targets. He's probably going to catch at least 120. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm
Easy.
like, yeah. So like this dude is gonna. I think this year, if Rodgers is healthy, everything goes smooth, no injuries. I think Garrett Wilson will have a hell of a year.
The only thing that has me like wondering is how, because they have a lot of good pass catchers, don't they? In New York, they signed a lot of good players. They got rid of all the old Green Bay Packers, but I believe they got
those Packer receivers are there as quick as his Achilles was.
exactly. That's true, but let's
That's
see
true, but
all these ads. Sorry, I'm looking at
you're good.
the roster here. All right, so check this out. Yeah, can you see my screen? Yeah, right.
Yes,
All right,
Garrett
so they have
Wilson,
Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams from the
Mike
Chargers.
Williams, Chargers, man. I don't know, man. They're kind of scary. They released so many good offensive pieces.
Yeah, well, they still have Lazard here. They have Xavier Gibson who burst into the scene. Um,
Xavier Gibson.
Jeremy Ruckert they drafted. Oh no, that wasn't the rookie they drafted. Brownlee kind of also was a good rookie last year. So they have a lot of options for Rodgers. But I think to your point, Garrett Wilson's going to be
The
Rodgers'
man.
favorite target. Yeah.
He's going to be Devontae Adams for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for Garrett Wilson for sure. I just want to see the Jets relevant. I mean, we're talking about Curtis Martin earlier. We're talking about like poor Mike Greenberg. I mean, he was like, "This is our year." Like, this dude was literally almost crying the next day when they had to go to work to get up on ESPN and Rogers tore his Achilles. Like he was just he. I
Yeah.
mean, he was
He didn't want to be there.
yeah. He was just like, dude, like I finally was going to be happy in my life, and now in sports world, and now we're back to nothing. He knew, yep, we're back to nothing. Sheesh.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
That would have been a horrible season to watch as a Jets fan, right? Just
Mm,
the play of Zach Wilson and then the team defensively. That was probably their strong suit, but then offensively they could never muster anything.
yeah, yeah. It's sad. It's crazy. All right,
All
Danny,
right.
we're almost wrapped and done, but we got one more segment, which is our last two defensive players. Give me your defensive players, sir.
Honestly, when I was searching for a rookie cornerback that had a huge impact, all I had in my mind was Deron Bland, right? Because of the season that he had last year. But it just made me wonder if there was anyone who ever came close to that, and I was quite surprised by what I found. So let me share my screen real quick. So Marcus Peters, you remember that name?
Of course, Marcus Peters.
So Marcus Peters started his career as a Kansas City Chief, and
Yep.
that was before Patrick Mahomes, right? So um, he actually got to play with Mahomes. No, he didn't really get to play with Mahomes because in 2017, Alex Smith was still the quarterback there. But
Wow.
anyways, in 2015 to start his career, he had 26 passes defense. Like that means even though you're a rookie, you're being challenged.
You're
You're
doing your
winning those.
job.
Yeah, you're winning those. But 8 interceptions in his rookie year. Of course, that led him to a Pro Bowl. But
Right.
8 interceptions, 2 of them were for touchdowns. So that just showed he was a shutdown corner to start the year, or start his career, I should say. Again, he was also involved on a lot of tackles, 53 solo tackles, and then 2 of them were tackles for losses. So that means, as a cornerback, to have TFLs, that means you're instinctual, right? So you recognize when those screen passes are coming, so
Right.
you hit that pass play quick, and so that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, right, with the Kansas City Chiefs, they traded him away, I believe, and he ended up going to the Los Angeles Rams. And so he kind of played under the Rams for a little bit, and then he bounced around to Baltimore. But I don't know. I guess his rookie year was probably his best year of his career, and
He
after
was with
he
the
kind of moved
Raiders
from,
last year. Poor guy.
yeah, and he did not play good last year. So, yeah, kind of again tragic to see, like a player have success early on in his career and then kind of after he bounces from team to team, kind of
Teetering.
just flame out, right?
Yeah, I think he should go. I mean, hopefully he'll go to a better spot soon, so he can has a better chance to be productive again. But I mean, it's all about scheme too, right? It's like, do I
Hmm.
fit you? Do I like do you fit the moxie I provide? So yeah, it's pretty wild. I like Marcus Peters to be honest. And then when did the so he wasn't with the Rams the year that they won the Super Bowl?
No, he was there the year that they went to Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots.
Right. And then he wasn't there in
He was there in
2021.
2019, and then they traded him to Baltimore, and then he played in Baltimore for a couple of seasons before he jumped to
So
Vegas.
he didn't play in 21?
Maybe he was suspended. I don't know what
No, I
happened there.
think maybe he got injured for the year. That's
It's funny, huh?
crazy. Yeah, where's 2021? What the heck? Just skipping stuff.
2021 is with Micah Parsons touchdown, so I don't know. It's not to be seen.
Oh man.
Yeah, he tore his ACL during practice.
Yeah, training camp, right? Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, poor guy. So maybe that's why. Maybe 2024 will be his because and torn an ACL, especially like quarterbacks can do a little better because they don't have to run and move so much. But Michael Gallup, we saw him struggle last year because he was still recovering a year before. Like maybe 2024, Marcus Peters goes back to being Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
Who knows? So my last one, sir, is in the year 2081. Looking to the future, his name is Lawrence Taylor. He'll have 20.5 sacks his rookie year, and he'll change the game forever. He was a tall, standing upright defensive end, and till this day, he's considered the greatest defensive player of all time. And it's so
Yeah.
crazy that he had such a moxie from his jump his rookie year. And you look at all the rookies in 81. We had Ronnie Lott earlier in this campaign. And then there was some guy from the Colts too that was on the list with Taylor, Ronnie Lott, and because that's who they mentioned in Lawrence Taylor's story.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this guy just balls out and ends up being a two-time Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants because him and Parcells just wreaked hell on people. Look at that sacks. Was it 1986? He had 20.5. Oh, that was the year that I guess the person that edited the writing meshed it all in. But anyway, of course, he started 16 games, one INT, 9.5 sacks, but he was just something that changed the NFL forever. And when after that rookie year, they were saying, all right, well, we're going to have to change how we block and scheme for people like this because he's going to be around here for a long time. And of course, the 86 year, look, that's the year that they won the Super Bowl. Remember, I told you they've won it. The Giants have won in 4 decades. That's the one. That's
Yep.
crazy. That's a crazy stat if you think about it. Winning 4 Super Bowls in 4 decades, and then now you're going to try to do it in this decade.
Not only that,
Crazy.
but check this out. When do you see a defensive player win MVP?
Yeah. Never anymore.
Nope.
Never. That's sad too because there's so many defensive players that deserve it.
They need to have two MVPs, one offense, one
Yeah,
defense.
like the baseball does. They have a pitcher and then all. Yeah, because like if you do defensive player like Deron Bland, 5 touchdowns as an interception, who's ever done that? Nobody.
Yep.
Like he has to get some type of reward, not just a pat on the damn back. I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm like, how hard is it to pick off somebody and score 5 times in one season? Like that's stupid hard.
Yeah. It's unheard of.
But yeah, I so we're talking about changing some rules, right? We're talking about that in that one episode. Like, yeah, Bubba Baker should have the damn record, and then offensive player MVP and defensive MVP. Like it should be that way.
Yeah. I think that just makes the most sense, and it gives everybody a fair chance at winning it, right? Not just the Christian McCaffrey that had 20 touchdowns or,
Yeah,
the Randy Moss that had 23 touchdowns. Like, you actually give people on both sides of the ball an equal chance to win it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, Danny, this has been a hell of an episode. This is the first time in about a month that we've gone over our 2 hour mark. So we definitely loved it and enjoyed it and had a good time. And David and Gabe, thanks for chiming in. Whoop, whoop. So
Yep.
that's
Thank you guys.
good. And fun times around. Damn, we that was crazy. It went super quick. And
Again,
I'm
I'll just
glad
give a I just want to say I'll give a PSA real quick, just for those people that do. Well, I don't know who's watching us on Facebook these days, right? Because we can't stream. But again, if there's anybody that tunes in on YouTube, on X, please, if you can guys can go and find us on Facebook, like, follow. That way we can hopefully get to 100 and start live streaming on that platform as well, just to give more people and connect with other people that may use Facebook as the number one social media outlet. But again, just thank you for all the support. We continue to grow slowly here, but appreciate everybody who tunes in.
yes, sir. Man, this has been a great episode. Usually we kind of give each other like hints of like, hey, that'd be cool for next week, but we're having so much fun with this. I don't think we came up with
Well,
something, but
well, next week is the start of training camp for a lot of teams, so maybe we can just touch on that.
we can do that because hopefully not, because I want everyone to have an equal chance, like even my team to beat another team with equality. Hopefully no big injuries starting to training camp, because there's always like a few that are like, oh, freak accident, they're done for the year. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, so there you go. Next week. So it starts Monday.
I don't know, either Monday or Tuesday. I know some players like the rookies report earlier than the rest of the
Yeah.
veterans, but yeah, I think so. I think it just varies by team.
Yeah, there you go. We can start with training camp. Dude, can you imagine August 1st? I mean, we're almost to the first game. August
Yeah,
1st is
no,
the Hall of Fame game. That is so
yeah, we're
crazy.
that is crazy. We're kind of like, this is probably the last week before all the football activity starts, right? Training camp starts, the Hall of
Oh,
Fame, and then preseason,
man.
and then it's this regular season. So it's been fun, right? I know we're kind of running out of things to talk about, but kind of going back in history and for example, today with the rookies, I think
It's
it's really
been
cool from a fan perspective.
it's been perfect actually, because we've dialed up a few things just enough to lead us into the season, and then like as soon as next off season start, we're gonna have to do the same thing. So it's
Exactly.
pretty crazy.
Yep. It's always fun
Man,
though, for
this has
sure.
been awesome. Yeah, heck yeah, Danny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, follow YouTube, X, Facebook, anywhere you can find us. Let's go. Trying to build this thing for you. Coming to you live and proud. This is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast. I'm JD Shiselli. With me was Danny Ramirez. Danny, it's always been a pleasure.
Likewise, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. That's a wrap.